Howdy, y'all. This is Taylor Ursula of That's So Pisces, and it's time to talk about our Taurus new moon. Lots of new things abound. Hanging out in a new space today. Let's see what it reveals. This new moon is taking place Tuesday, May 7th at 18 degrees of Taurus at about 8 p.m. here on the West Coast. So the moon enters Taurus on Monday, the 6th, and just like everything else entering into Taurus, it promptly enters into a square with Pluto, currently retrograde in Aquarius at 2 degrees. Happening on this same day is the third and final meeting between Mercury and Chiron in Aries at 21 degrees. These two events taking place at the same time might yield some sort of action or some sort of integration, perhaps. I mentioned this is the third passing of Mercury and Chiron. And if you've been tuning in, you know that we have had these over the course of Mercury's retrograde through Aries. We had the second pass while Mercury was retrograde at our Cancer first quarter moon, which took place right after the Aries new moon eclipse just about a month ago. So we have spent the past several weeks with Mercury passing over this Chiron point, and hopefully, perhaps in this third and final pass, with Mercury clearing its retrograde shadow, we are collecting the final bits of information regarding what this wound feels like for us, what this wound has been bringing up for us, and ultimately what it's asking for us to act on now, right? This is Mercury in an initiating cardinal sign. And as Mercury is due to clear its retrograde shadow just 1 week after this conjunction, early in the morning of next Monday, the 13th, we have some agency building, we have some plans building, we have some options in front of us that Mercury will be interested in exploring once it's done collecting all of that information. So this feels significant with the moon in Taurus coming in to make this square to Pluto at 2 degrees, because the moon is exalted in Taurus, which is a sign that is said to offer the moon nurturance and support and grounding for any and all of its emotional experiences. And so for the moon to feel safe and snuggly when arriving into Taurus, only to promptly run right into Pluto and be challenged in some way, we might be thinking about or compelled to get clear on what previous sources of comfort are no longer offering that comfort to us. What previous sources of grounding and stability are now being unearthed in some way, are now being revealed to perhaps have changed, or revealing to us where we have changed, and that comfort no longer serves us. This is a moment of discomfort, absolutely, where we'll be seeing things rise to the surface that maybe we haven't felt ready to confront, but Pluto don't care. And so all of this overlapping with this Mercury conjunction to Chiron, we might be able to collect all of the rest of this information now. And with that information, maybe have an easier time sitting with what is revealed to us in this square so that we can begin to make some sort of plan about how to pursue new comforts as the ones that have served us have now been outgrown. On Tuesday, we see the moon in Taurus make a conjunction to its ruler Venus, home for the season at 9 degrees. And so this is really lovely. This is the moon kind of licking its wounds after that Pluto square, after being challenged about our imminent, evident discomfort, where there used to be peace or perhaps grounding. There's a bit of coming home to Venus and finding some sweetness, some goodness, and maybe getting clear on what our values are at this time. Venus met with Pluto in that square shortly after entering Taurus as well last week at the top of the season. And so we are maybe getting some comfort from that post-square conjunction. We're maybe finding new values, new sources of comfort, new sources of connection at this time as we look to phase out what is no longer serving us or soothing us. And we maybe get new ideas or inclinations about what we want to experience next. We then see the moon in Taurus make a sextile to Saturn in Pisces at 17 degrees. So whatever gets established, perhaps, through the meeting of the moon and Venus, whatever we discover there in this sort of new beginning cycle, the moon then brings into Saturn to anchor in some way, to start to build a foundation, to start to make something permanent. So even with all the confrontation happening on Monday, by Tuesday, we're already getting an invitation to anchor into what is emerging for us at this time. We then have the moon meet the sun in Taurus at 18 degrees, which welcomes our new moon phase. Wednesday, the moon continues through Taurus and makes a conjunction to Uranus at 22 degrees. This is where we might start to get an on-the-ground understanding of what that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is bringing in for us. This might be where we start to emotionally or sensually open up to some of the change that is emerging in our lives now. And we'll see the moon then follow up to meet Jupiter in Taurus as well, just a few degrees later, on the same day, of course. And so this is where we are finding maybe new pathways to comfort, new opportunities emerging in front of us around these goals that we're bringing into the Taurus new moon. And the conjunction to Jupiter maybe infuses us with a sense of hope, a sense of possibility, a sense of opportunity. It might be that things happen fairly quickly around this Taurus new moon about what we're experiencing individually and the ways we're going to see it start to connect to our outer world with these social and outer planets, respectively. The last stop for the moon in Taurus is a sextile to Neptune in Pisces at 29 degrees, just teetering there on the edge. Okay. Neptune will be stationing retrograde somewhat soon. Neptune will station retrograde at 29 degrees of Pisces in just truly Neptunian fashion before slowly making its way back a handful of degrees. So this might be where we are able to attune to some really big picture possibilities. We might feel compelled to daydream here as the moon is new and we are tuning into that sense of possibility and electricity through Jupiter and Uranus. And so we may be compelled to daydream here about what's possible. We may be compelled to really fantasize about what we're calling in at this time. Later on the same day, the moon moves into Gemini and swiftly moves into trine Pluto in Aquarius, currently retrograde. So we start off this new moon with some revelations, some confrontations about what's uncomfortable. But as soon as the moon was in Gemini, we already start to kind of make some headway into what those themes that have been brought to the surface are looking like for us. We might get curious in Gemini about what's possible, might start having some conversations about what we're learning at this time. That's also the moon then being ruled by Mercury, who has just made that final conjunction to Chiron. So we'll already start to see Mercury making some plans, or at least weighing out the options. It seems worth noting that the sun will follow up and meet Uranus just 6 days after this new moon, on the same day that Mercury clears its retrograde shadow. So while Mercury is finishing up these final few degrees, as it makes its way through the end of this shadow where it has all the information, it is now clear to move ahead and begin planning for its next cycle. We have the sun come and meet Uranus, where we integrate into our ego, into our conscious self, what changes we've initiated at this Taurus new moon as the moon meets Uranus. So we'll start to see some of these things take shape over these next few days. Okay, let's go ahead and pull some cards. We're starting a new cycle, so no recap. We're starting from fresh. Let's see what is coming in at this new moon time. Stay tuned. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so a quick reminder that if you would like to pull along with us, you can head to priestessbaby.com/store, where you can download the free Moon Phase Tarot Pull PDF. It contains all of our moon phase spreads. Okay, so as we examine and welcome in this new moon, we are looking at a cycle that begins for us now, as well as what has been cleared away to allow for this shift. We are looking at what this new cycle may look like as it unfolds, as well as how we can ground our ideas and intentions now. And we'll also take a look at the bottom of the deck just to get a sense of who else is part of this story. Okay. Excuse me. There we go. All right, so, okay. I feel like we've maybe seen the High Priestess reversed recently, and we've talked about, that might have been for a particular sign in our Taurus season ahead spread, but we're certainly looking at where we've maybe been neglecting our instincts or intuition, right? The High Priestess is the moon. Our moon is instinctual, is intuitive, is emotionally connected to information around us. And so the High Priestess is this larger journey of really developing that intuition, really being in the stillness to know what is true and what is not true, and understanding that truth can change over time. So if this is showing up for us reversed, it may be revealing to us that we've been in a pattern of maybe tuning that out, maybe hearing our intuition speak to us, but not actually honoring it. There may be something that has bypassed our intuition that might be revealed at this time. Some sort of mystery might be made known. Something within us might surface suddenly. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. So, a cycle that begins for us now. Oh, celebration. Okay. So, this is like victory, success, right? The Six of Wands is like they're throwing a parade in our honor. There are cherubs here blowing their horns. There is all of this beautiful, magnificent glory, and we have this gold wreath, right? So, there's something about being celebrated. There's something about getting praise. There's something about experiencing success or victory in some way. All right, that feels very promising. Maybe we are getting noticed for something that we're doing. Maybe we are celebrating something we've accomplished. Maybe we are bringing an attitude into this new moon of I will be successful in what I pursue at this time. And maybe it's just an attitude shift. Okay, so we could be seeing this in many different ways. What has been cleared away to make room for or allow this shift? Oh, okay. We have another major reversal. And how funny that we see the Hierophant, our card of the season. Hierophant is connected to Taurus. And so we talked during our Taurus season forecast, we talked all about how the Hierophant connected with our card of the year, Strength. And we talked about what we have trust in, what we are able to believe in, what structures and entities and institutions and things bigger than us we feel able to believe in at this time. So reversed might see us exiting, right? Because this is what has been cleared away. So we may be coming out of a period of time where we were really reflecting on what we had been believing in. We were really uncertain or maybe losing faith in what we had been believing in up to a certain point. We may have been questioning our beliefs or reframing what our values are intrinsically to then get a sense of what outside of ourselves matches or supports those values. So we are exiting a period of perhaps introspection or reflection about what trust and faith look like outside of us. What this news cycle may look like as it unfolds. Oh, interesting. Okay. Maybe we're pulling away from some relationships. Maybe we have been part of some social groups. Maybe we've had certain friend groups. Maybe we've been part of certain communities. And maybe we are withdrawing from those. Maybe those friends or those community spaces have been connected to what we've lost faith in or what we've determined no longer aligns with our values. Maybe we are redefining for ourselves what friendship really looks like. Who supports us, who celebrates us, right? This is meant to be nourishing, to be revitalizing, to be, again, supportive. And so maybe we are redefining what those kind of friendships look like for us. Maybe we're redefining what kind of parameters we want in our communities. Maybe we're tangibly pulling away from some friends. It's very possible. How we can ground our ideas and intentions now. Oh, okay. Well, it's not, the phrase that just popped into my head was like, don't give up. Like, don't let, there's a sense of don't give up, don't let this destroy you. This could definitely be something devastating if we're talking about leaving friendships or recognizing where we're not actually being supported in the way that we need to be or hoped to be. So this might be a beacon of like finding hope. How we can ground our ideas and intentions by not giving up even if something seems like it's at its last thread, right? By reviving something. Maybe something has kind of been dead or been out of commission for some time, and it's time to bring it back. Maybe there's something that's been on pause, something that needed to be kind of put on hiatus or put on break in some way, and you're able to return to it and see what is salvageable at this time. Okay, I mean, looking at, here's where we have trust and faith and what we believe in, and here's sort of an end point or something that feels hopeless or feels lost. And very interesting here to be sandwiching this kind of notion of friendship again, or like emotional camaraderie. It might feel like if we have to leave behind certain relationships, or if we are reframing what friendship means to us, maybe that means that there are some relationships in there that can be circled back around to. Maybe there's been some, maybe there has been some some form of relationship that is making its way back to you. Perhaps this isn't about stepping out of friendship at all. Perhaps this is reflecting on friendships you've stepped away from, and maybe there are some that need to be brought back to life. Maybe there are some connections with people now that you've gone through this period of what I believe in and what my values are. There might be some lost friendships or lost connections that it's time to circle back to. Maybe this all connects with this high priestess of, my instincts are telling me this, my intuition is telling me this, but I haven't really known if I can believe in it. I haven't really known if I have faith in that. Now that I'm finding my sense of faith, now that I'm entering into a period of success and being celebrated, I recognize I want some of these people here who maybe haven't been here in some time. Or perhaps there are some people I had to turn away from that I'm ready to circle back to and make peace with or reconcile with in some way. Okay, there's a few different ways this could play out. I would love to hear in the comments what is landing for you and what this is connected to in your personal life. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed, please like this video. Please share with someone who may be navigating kind of turning back for things or bringing things back to life, and subscribe so that we can talk about what's going to unfold as this cycle continues to grow. We'll see what grows from here in the Leo first quarter moon next week. So I hope to see you there.